going on, my friends? SeanPierceJohnson here with this week's edition of Stompbox Saturday, and on the stompin' block today, we got the Reverberation Station from Deadbeat Sound. This is one of 3 pedals that are part of Deadbeat's Station series, and they all kind of follow a similar platform, a very cool sort of 1970s-ish analog synth-looking design with some nice wood side panels. 3 knobs and a large rotary encoder, there's that fancy word again, rotary encoder, to select the different effects. Now they are digital multi-effects, nothing wrong with that, but what's cool about this series is that they're at a price that just about anybody can afford, and I think this is a great series of pedals to look at if you're getting into pedals for the first time, and even if you're not new to effects pedals and know your stuff. If you need a nice, inexpensive pedal to do a bunch of different things really well, the Deadbeat Sound pedals are ones to take a look at. Enough of my yakking, let's throw the Reverberation Station up on the screen and take a look at what we are working with. There it is. As I said, 3 knobs to control your sound and then a big old rotary encoder up on top. Now for the Reverberation Station, we have the knobs for reverb, setting your reverb mix, the decay, which is going to be the length of time of the reverb, and color. Kind of like that it's labeled color. Now essentially that's going to be tailoring the EQ of the reverb tail. And I just like that it's labeled color because sometimes it's a high-end adjustment and other times it's kind of shaping the sound, you know? Tone is a really weird word for those kind of controls. Anyway, but then we get to the big old rotary encoder right here. I'm just having fun saying rotary encoder. I should stop saying that so much. And that's how you select the reverb type that you are going to use. And there is a total of 9 on the Reverberation Station. We have room, hall, church, mod, plate, spring, lo-fi, gate, and reverse. Kind of a nice assortment of the standard and the not so standard, if you will, reverb sounds. And of course, you know what's really cool is they're all very easy to control. There are definitely some winners, definitely some, I won't call them losers, just less favorable ones that don't quite stick out from the rest of the pack. So that's pretty much everything that's going on, and I think we need to listen to all of them and kind of see what we can get out of them and have a bit of fun with some of my favorite settings and favorite reverb types at the end of the video. So here's the setup. As always, we have the trusty Les Paul Studio. That is going into the front end of the orange Rock Reverb 100, which will be handling clean and dirt tones, and the Deadbeat Sound Reverberation Station will be in the effects loop. All reverb coming directly from the pedal. Nothing from the amp, nothing in post. So let's get down to it and let's check out the different reverb sounds, starting with room. One little drawback that I'm going to mention before we start playing is that, as you can see, there's no lights on the pedal right now. So how do you really know what mode that you are on when you are using your Reverberation Station? Well, of course, you have a little line on the side of the big knob at the top, but each one has an LED next to it, and that's kind of your go-to indicator. It would be kind of nice if that was just on all the time, but in order to see it, you got to turn the pedal on. There's your on-off LED, there's your mode LEDs right up there. So let's get started with room, which is not a reverb type that you typically see on a lot of pedals. Let's hear the tone dry first. You can hear the reverb knob, that's a mix, that's not a level. So as we increase it, we're losing our dry signal and getting more of the wet signal. That's got a really cool, nifty, faraway microphone sound to it. So not a whole lot of decay on there. It's just kind of ambience, general ambience, if you will. It's just a little bit to kind of give you a little sense of space. Not bad though. It's really fun to play around with. It's a very different kind of tone that not a whole lot of reverb pedals have on them. Next we have Hall. We know what a Hall is. We know what a Hall is supposed to do, so let's check it out. Definitely not as deep as some other Halls though. It's got a different kind of diffusion of the reverb. That is basically the way that the reverb tails off and spreads out into the room. Diffusion, a new term. Great. More tonal terminology. So let's move on to Church. Even at a low decay, there's a lot going on there. Now, the Church definitely feels a little bit more like what a Hall reverb typically is. But, hey, whatever. Deadbeat's doing their own thing, and that's kind of cool. Mod. Now, this is a modulated reverb, which is pretty tasty. quicker decay times, it has more of a chorusing effect. Let's turn that decay up. I like that one. That's a favorite. Let's go to plate. Spring. Let's turn that color up. That's a different kind of flowing. Flowing? What the heck? What is flowing? That sproing is not drippy, but it's fwappy. F-W-A-P-P-Y. Fwappy. So not the truest spring in the world, but it's kind of fun. Lo-fi. I think this might be my favorite. You can hear this sort of like artifacty graininess going on. dodgy. Let's play something that doesn't sound so evil. How about that? Yeah, kind of cool. Lo-fi reverbs always kind of run the gamut. They're never like one thing or the other. They're always kind of up to builders' interpretations. So now let's go to gate. This is a very classic kind of reverb sound that, well, classic if you're a huge 80s music fan. Got used a lot. It's that kind of like 80s snare reverb. That gated reverb is really the key. So there it is. Now it's gone. Turn it up. Coming in the air tonight. I'm not gonna sing it. Now we come to reverse. Now, reverse reverb, I've never tended to really get because the decay coming in first and then your attack coming in, and they just kind of, it sounds more like reverse delay than reverse reverb. But this one, this one actually decays out like a reverb. So you have decay and then it comes back to your attack, kind of like how you would expect a reverb to go from attack to decay. It doesn't shorten that length of time that's in there. It really feels like finally there's a reverse reverb. Now I could just be blowing smoke to some of you, but having played like maybe 3 or 4 reverse reverb pedals that claim to do that thing, they never sound like a reverb. They always sound like an echo. This does not. This sounds like a reverb. It's pretty incredible to me. It's really the only reverse reverb that I've ever played that I've actually liked. Not afraid to say it. So there's all the reverb types that are available on the Reverberation Station. They run the gamut, and even the ones that are pretty standard kind of have their own little twist to it. So now that we've done that, I'm going to show you some of my favorite settings with my favorite modes and have a little bit of fun with some playing. And there you have it, my friends. That is the Reverberation Station from Deadbeat Sound. I really dig this series and I really dig the platform. First off, on the looks, it definitely gets an A+. Packaging gets an A+. The one thing with the sounds is that some of the standards have a little quirk about them. They come out of left field, so to speak. And some of you may not like that, like with the spring. It definitely doesn't drip like you might want a spring reverb to do. but it's that little quirk that kind of makes the exploration part of this pedal really, really fun. I'm having a lot of fun checking out the reverse reverb. The fact that it actually, sounds like a reverb and not just a reverse echo is definitely a plus. Other favorites, definitely the room, the mod, and the church. I think, like I said, it's really cool to have a room reverb. Great if you're just sitting in a kind of dead sounding room and you just want to liven things up a little bit. It's definitely good for that. If you're brand new to effects pedals, this is the perfect option for you. It's not that expensive and you get a lot of things to choose from. And even if you're someone like me who has pedals in upwards of $500 a pop, this is definitely a cool option to have because it has things that maybe some of those really expensive pedals don't. And that's the beauty of effects pedals. Every single company is out there offering something at various price points that maybe a cheap one fulfills something an expensive one doesn't, and vice versa. Or maybe they meet somewhere in the middle and they both have something, they do it the same way, but they both do it really, really well, just with their own little spin on it. It's kind of like cooking. Different recipes. Each chef does something just a little bit different than the one that came before. So I like it and can't wait to show you guys the rest of the Station series. But before we get to that, I want to know what you guys think of the Reverberation Station. What mode was your favorite? Is there something else that you'd like to hear from this pedal? Or maybe put this pedal up against a different reverb pedal like the Ocean's 11, like the TC Hall of Fame, or the Walrus Fathom? If so, please let me know in the comment section below, and please help support the channel by buying some of my band's merchandise. You can find that link in the description below, and click that subscribe button when you see it so you don't miss next week's episode of Stompbox Saturday. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Happy stomping. Cheers.